them into another part of the conversation.
Yeah. So the part of the conversation that I'm trying to like get to though is like, I think it doesn't make sense though for people to ask for the same type of treatment, the same type of whatever, if they're not willing to accept the responsibility of that treatment, of that right, of that law, of that whatever. And this is the part that I think a lot of dudes that are engaging in modern dating and stuff like that have a bit of like a confusion about. For example, we can talk about the thing that I talked before about reproduction. So if you look at like pretty much most of the Western countries, once your DNA leaves your body, you have no responsibility in terms of like, or no power over what happens to that. And I know this is a very polemic and controversial.
Sorry, after my DNA leaves my body.
Yeah, so like for example, if you...
What am I sticking my dick in here?
Yeah, correct, to another human being. But
well, I'm glad it's a human being.
Yeah,
and
not a goat, exactly. But like what I'm saying is like if you...
Oh my gracious pumpkins.
Yeah, if it's in a pumpkin, like, and somebody scoops that out of the pumpkin, puts it inside their own body, you've lost all control over what happens with that DNA now. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I've lost control of so many more things than just my DNA. But okay, let's
the point is like now, like, if somebody's impregnated by that DNA, I'm still responsible for that DNA, but I have no ability to impart any amount of control or anything to do with that DNA. Does that make sense?
And just hang on. This is just.
I just think it's interesting.
You rarely render me speechless. In this occasion, I'm trying to. So, when
like
you
for
say,
example, if you were with a chick, right?
Can I just suggest?
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to go around impregnating women.
No. But that's not the point.
We're going to seek informed consent from them.
Yeah, of course. Considering all of that, all of the political, the laws and everything's abided by, all the political correctness is done. You ask them to touch their leg first.
It's not politically correct.
Excuse me, madam. Can I please touch your shin bone and pull down your stockings, madam?
Stop it, Anton. I'm getting excited.
And you do all that kind of good old stuff.
You are such a romantic.
I am a romantic, that's right. But you do all that, right? And then you the deed is done and you
No, the deed isn't done. It's not. The deed's not done.
What's the deed?
I did it.
Yeah, of course.
I did her.
I know, but both people are involved in that, right? It's not like, oh, you chose to have sex with her, so now the DNA that you've left in that person is you have no. There's no. You lose any amount of decision making.
Whatever happened to love making and romance? And
I agree. That's important. But that's not the point. Though the point is about the responsibility.
It's not a transactional relationship. It's far more fundamental than that.
I know, but there's laws that make it
that's
divided.
Because
does that make sense?
White's law, 10% of the population are dickheads. Mm-hmm. So the law is there for the 10% of the population who are dickheads who go around.
But the point is this, though. The point is regardless if only 10% of people are going to make that an issue, anybody has the ability to make that an issue. And this is what people kind of fixate on and get annoyed by or upset with and are worried about. That's why a lot of people are afraid of doing certain things.
But that's not got to do with equal rights. That's to do with...
No, but it's not... I'm not talking about rights. I'm just talking about responsibility and the difference in responsibility based on the laws that are intact. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm more talking about responsibility.
Yeah.
Like... Again, I know that there's waves of power that change through sex and class and whatever, and that's happened throughout history. And what I'm trying to mention now is like this whole push for equality, I think, is completely overbalanced. And what's happening with a lot of people now is there's certain laws that are set up or rules that are in place that are not based on equality or anything like that at all. They're actually unilateral control or power in one gender or in one class or in whatever. And I think what happens when that occurs is you get a lot of tension, and it's you're starting to notice it more and more and more.
Within that argument, that argument works okay if you're talking about a sexual relationship between two people. to an intimate relationship.
Yes.
There is, in the scenario you're describing, there is, however, a third party.
Yeah.
And that is the child.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about are the rights of the child. And again, conflating them with the rights of the mother or the father or the father and the father or the mother and the mother.
Yeah.
But in our society,
yes,
we have decided that the child has rights.
Yeah.
And there are laws that cover that. So these laws around the relationship and about child support and about who's in charge of parenting, they're generated from the child, not from the two protagonists, the two adults.
Yeah.
Because people will fuck up children's lives out of
spite, anger, whatever.
Everybody
emotion.
loves their children.
Yeah.
But there are some people, historically men who just bail and who from the situation, and then there's a child. It's not that the mother child suffers from the lack of child support, but I mean she does, but that's because she gives all her money to the child, and there's lots of studies that show that mothers go hungry before their children do.
Yeah, I would agree with that whole thing, like historically, but I don't think that's an issue now. And this is kind of like the point. Like
it is. I promise you, because I've done lots of work with child safety and child protection. I will promise you, it is still a problem. Because 10% of men are dicks, and they leave and they dodge and they hide and they change their names and they have other children with other women.
Yeah, but like I also can give up like statistics based on that type of thing as well. But like there's a bunch of women that actively go out and have relationships with men and then they divorce those men, because 80% of divorce is initiated by women. It's a one-gendered approach to divorce, and I believe that it's not like around morality. Like I believe that, again, because of the ways the law is set up, a lot of men stay in their marriages based off of finances and stuff like that too. But like leaving a particular individual for the way you feel or whatever, that's not in the best interest of the child either, in my opinion. And like that's initiated from one gender as well. So I don't think that it's that men are bad. Are there 10% of men that are horrible? Absolutely. Are there 10% of women that are horrible? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I'm saying is I think the freedom or the liberation or whatever, it has repercussions, and a lot of the repercussions is that it fucks up the next generation, because I do believe that men and women complement each other in a stable relationship, and that's the best scenario for raising or rearing any children. But I think it's almost promoted now that like independence and like putting yourself first and this individualism and stuff that you kind of talked about with like the US and stuff is really crept into most Western cultures and stuff like that. And I don't believe that that's helpful for children and building a better generation and all that type of thing. And it's the same type of thing. Like there's a bunch of men that change their name and do this and do that and all that type of thing. And there's a bunch of women that marry this guy and get a divorce and have a kid, and then marry the next guy and get a divorce and have a kid, and marry the next guy and get a divorce and have a kid. And then they just reap the financial benefit of all those scenarios.
Because White's Law, 10% of people in any cultural group...
But it's not 10% if 80% of the women initiating divorce. Does that make sense?
Ow!
That's an Australian statistic too. That's not...
I don't know the statistic. I'm happy to go with it, but I'm not happy with that 80% then being applied to the 10% of people who are dickheads, because there are many, many reasons that people get divorced. Probably as many reasons as there are relationships from which people get divorced. You can't. But
like if you look at, because you can compare this like globally, like this is why I was talking about like more like the cultural thing, and you can look at different times.
Where did you get these figures? Have you been listening to Jordan Peterson again?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
Anton.
Like, oh man, I will listen to that. I'll listen to whoever. But like, I believe in data. I don't believe in like
80% women initiate 80%.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
Have a Google. It's on there somewhere. Oh, I can send you a link to it after we finish here. But